Hello and welcome. My name is Mike Noble, and I will be the host for this TLC session, Ashford Forward Thinking Blog, Bridges the Gap Between Theory and Practice, a resource to further student success by Lizzie Wann, Kelsey Bober, and Bill Davis. We're excited that you have joined us today to hear Lizzie, Kelsey, and Bill's presentation. The chat window will be open during the session, so please feel free to participate or ask questions. Please welcome Lizzie, Kelsey, and Bill.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Okay, so on behalf of Kelsey and Bill, I'd like to welcome you to this presentation on forward thinking. So Ashford University has a blog. Did everybody know that? I hope so. We've been at it for a little over 4 years, and it's been a learning experience and very, very exciting. So if you want to know where to find the blog, there are 4 locations. First, you can go to the URL, ashford.edu/blog, super easy. Also, from the Ashford Experience tab on the website, the drop down there, the last item is blog. Also on the area of interest and various other landing pages, at the bottom of the page is always 2 articles that are related to that topic of the area of interest or whatever the landing page happens to be. And 4th is at the footer, Forward Thinking Blog, always there on every page. So there's plenty of ways to get to the blog. And I think from here, I'm going to turn it over to Kelsey to talk about kind of the inner workings of the blog.
All right, thanks, Lizzie. So the way we use our blog is to just connect with students and faculty on different areas of interest, either for students or for faculty, and hopefully really both. It's just a place for students and faculty to connect and then share those common interests and hopefully grow and enhance the student journey. That's about all I have to say on this page, is just to introduce you to the topics that you'll find on our blog. I really want to spend most of my time talking to you about getting involved with the blog. So these are 3 examples of blogs that faculty have written. The top is from the most recent series by Bill and Avisha on marketing. So this is a 5-part series, and they're just sharing their professional experiences and knowledge in a way that students can really connect and dive deeper into a topic. Get everywhere kind of from basics to their professional experiences, and really just enhancing student knowledge and the student journey. The second I'll note here is this was a blog article by Dave McCusick, and this came about because we said, what do you want to write about? What interests you, and what conversations do you have with students over and over that could live as a blog? And teaching an interdisciplinary class, business law, he gets a mixture of students from all sorts of majors, and he said, everyone asks me kind of the proverbial why study business law. So now when he has that conversation in the first class of each course, he can direct them to this additional reading, and they can dig into the topic of why studying business law at a deeper level. This one in particular has been one of our highest performing blogs. It quickly jumped to the top 5 most trafficked pages of all of our blogs. And having done this for about 4 years, we have, I would say, over 1,000 blogs. And it's not always top 5, but we'll see it in the top 10 pretty consistently. So it's just answering student questions and speaking to their interests and providing them with an additional resource that is really getting traffic to our site and enhancing the student journey. The final is from, Marvi Mar, and this was a 3-part series on her experiences traveling and consulting around the world. But I'll move on now. So brainstorming, if you have an interest in writing a blog article, some of the different ways we can use it and write something is maybe you have research interests, you have personal and professional experiences that you want to share with students, just real life practical applications such as Bill and Avisha's series, topic deep dives, promoting your programs. That is something that we try to have a blog or 2 or 3 or more for each program, so students are really understanding what that program is about and how they can apply it to their real life, careers, etc. And then finally, I'll jump down to the last one, student experiences. We really want to get student voices on the blog. So if you have a particular student who's just kind of stellar and has an interest in either sharing their experience in the program, we have a blog by Don McKay and Karen Ivey publishing next week on a student in the Bachelor of Information Systems Management. And all they've done here is they've interviewed him and heard, what does this degree mean to him? And that's what we want to hear. We want to hear student experiences. That's what makes us better at our jobs, and that's how we can better serve our student population. So definitely if a student or two or three come to mind, let us know. We want to connect with you and we want to connect with them. And then this is the last slide I'll cover. These are just, or actually there's one more. These are some submission guidelines. They're pretty general here and we're flexible on everything. I really work with you to get something to a place where you're really happy with it. Especially as a faculty, if you haven't written in a while or are uncomfortable with the blog format, we want to work with you to make it something that you're proud of and wanting to share and promote. Because again, that's just how we all get better. It's a collaborative process. So this is an example of what the editing might look like. I'll send track changes back to you. We'll talk, we'll say, what do you, what could you work on, or if you just want me to take from there. Really, this process is something for you to, make it what you want of it. I want it to enhance your teaching and your interaction with students. So let's make of it what you want of it. And then this is my final slide, how to get started. First we'll just talk. You can always catch me by email, or we can set up a time to talk on the phone. Sometimes that's easier than exchanging 10 emails. Then we just brainstorm and we choose a topic. So, whether it's a research interest or sharing a personal and professional experience that you think can impact students in a positive way. We'll collaborate on when you're going to send it to me. And again, this is, there's no hard deadlines. We want this to be something that you are proud to work on and have a project that enhances your faculty position. So we'll write, we'll edit, we publish, and finally we promote. We encourage you to share it, on your LinkedIn or Facebook or in your classrooms. Again, just something that can enhance your CV and your faculty page. And now I'll hand it off to Bill, who's our superstar of the blog.
Well, thank you for your words there, and it's a pleasure to follow Kelsey and Lizzie here. And I'll just introduce myself. I'm Bill Davis. I'm a core faculty assistant professor in the Forbes School of Business. And what I want to do now is tell you how much I enjoy being a contributor to Ashford University's Forward Thinking and working and collaborating with my colleagues Lizzie and Kelsey. And they're a team. I have a long-standing relationship with them that starts back to 2010, when Lizzie helped us on campus with a successful program we developed called the Quick Ideas Central. So in 2013, when I got the invite to write and be a contributor at Ashford Forward Thinking, I jumped at the chance, and I've loved it ever since. I use and leverage these forward thinking articles at the right times with my students to reinforce learning and increase the transfer of content. Next slide, please. There's many benefits to being a contributor to forward thinking. And one of my goals in this presentation is to show you as a faculty member what some of those benefits are. Obviously to further student success and further learning. But I'll tell you, one big one is collaboration. When you work remotely, you want reasons to engage your colleagues and to do something purposeful. And what a platform this is. For example, what you see here is a leadership series that I did with my good friend and colleague, Dr. Marty McAuliffe. It was a great collaboration, and we were featured even in Ashford University's Faculty Focus. And that's a good thing for us and students, as these articles that are here on leadership, this series. I can't tell you how many times I get emails from faculty, even at other colleges, because I post these on LinkedIn, and they will ask us, they will ask us, you know, can I use these in my conference that I'm giving? I had a principal from Joliet Central High School. Somebody that I knew from my past wrote me and said, I really like your leadership articles. I'm doing a leadership series with principals, so I've used a few. I appreciated that. Also, too, recently I had a fellow call me from Arkansas that's writing a book on leadership, and it all came from one of these articles. So Lizzie and Kelsey, thank you. You know, we've impacted. I love to deliver these short articles. Like Kelsey said, are 800 to 1,000 words. Boy, I've written them on leadership, marketing, management, adult learning, taking initiative, helping our students, career development, managing time, balancing roles, and so much more. And since I've started writing, here's what I'm proud to say. I've written over about 80 articles, most of those forward thinking, in the forward thinking blog, the ICPM management briefs, academic capital, Ashford's Cutting Edge. For me, it's been fun and productive time spent. And what most importantly, it's purposeful. That's the reason we exist, is to promote learning and to further learning. And so this is a platform for me. So a special thank you to Lizzie and Kelsey and all of your past writers that I've worked with for developing my short article writing craft. You've helped me more than you know. Next slide, please. You know, I mentioned collaboration. Here's a good friend of mine and colleague, Dr. Avisha Sadi Jihad. And in a recent series we just did on marketing, as Kelsey mentioned, it's a 5-article series. And you know, what I really love about the forward thinking is how professional Kelsey and Lizzie and her team format and frame these articles. It's first class, it really is. It's framed so professionally, positioned so well in front of our students and our Ashford University community. Just search and click yourself and you'll see so many, not just mine, but everyone's. The collaborations are just absolutely amazing. Next slide, please. You know, forward thinking, as I talked about collaboration, furthering student success, but it has impacted me more than you know. It's impacted my students more than you know. You can't really measure it all completely, but I can tell you that, for example, in the BABA team, the BA in Business Administration, you know, it brought Dr. Ron Beach and Dr. Mike Riley and us closer because we collaborated on management topics, leadership topics. We've submitted them to forward thinking, ICPM. My good friend and colleague, Dr. Maya Zelahik, we've written before on management and so forth. But it's just such a pleasure to see this collaboration and the dynamic. And that's what we do as faculty. That's what we exist, to pay it forward. So next slide, please. You know, when it comes to classroom positioning, I use these articles in so many different ways. You know, they're timeless. So all of a sudden I see a student that has a need and I've got my portfolio and I say, you might want to read this. This will make things a little bit clearer. But for all my students, I position announcements like this. And when you look at this, this is an actual announcement in the old e-college platform I took. And this one, here's what I stressed in this one. This is what I want you to really take away from this, because this is what sold me early on in 2013 to want to get involved in this. And I hope you feel my passion because it's sincere and genuine. What Lizzie and the team had positioned was that every day great ideas, advice, and information are discussed around the institution. The knowledge is shared with students, alumni, friends, and faculty, but it's on a smaller scale. It's not a 22-page academic paper, which is good and for a conference. This is a short article, 500 to 1,000 words, that is created to engage a larger audience. So it's not just me writing, it's all the disciplines. It's people across all colleges. And you know what we're looking at is a group of lifelong learners who read, think, and provide valuable feedback. They get excited, they respond. So to me, it is so positive, such a value. Next slide, please. Now, the timing is key in how you use these articles to leverage them in. So faculty, if you're listening out there, this is a resource. This is a tool for me. So when I see a student who could use some good words, for example, in the recent Iowa hybrid Business 620 marketing management course I taught, boy, did these come in handy, because we were talking about branding. And what better way to put on the video screens at campus was a couple of these forward-thinking articles on career branding, your personal branding. Marcus Creighton, Forbes School of Business Mentor Week, wrote an article with his video. I played that. Also, too, we were covering marketing in STP, segmenting, targeting, positioning. this article came in handy. So we put this up and we discussed it. Plus I emailed it to them. But this is the kind of way that I leverage the resource as well as other resources. And that's what forward thinking is to me, is a tool. It's another resource. Next slide, please. You know, my article even came in handy, and I've given this talk many places. This was forward thinking. And when I look at what I did here is I like to break things down and take the bigger picture and make it simple and straightforward. And I took project management in a talk I gave in Forbes Mentor Week. And basically I said project management is 3 P's, 2 C's, and a D. And that's you get your purpose, your participants, you develop a plan, you develop how you're going to communicate, what type of controls you have, and then you debrief. And sometimes that process is long or short. But I was able to communicate that in the video, in the article, and it's something that, again, that's timeless, that I use from time and time again. And I thank the impetus of all this is Lizzie and her team and everything that the administration has done to provide me with this platform. So thank you. Next slide, please. You know, this is one of my favorites, and she is just a tremendous friend and colleague, Dr. Karen Ivey. And what we did when we went to Forbes Mentor Week, she gave a talk on personal action, your personal action plan. I think it is just absolutely fantastic. And I have to tell you, this came in so handy, and I still post it every Management 330 Management for Organizations course in week 4. I post this with a video with career services and another one on Marcus Creighton. And we talk about students' careers. And Karen's plan here in this article is just absolutely tremendous. And this is an actual announcement in a Canvas course that I continue to use every time I teach 330 and even outside of 330, because I think students win. And that's what we're all about, is impacting student success. So next slide, please. You know, benefits. We talked about benefits. You know, under the Boyer model for scholarship, which is what Ashford University uses, you know, this all counts. I've gotten tons of compliments from my students, from the deans, from the program chairs that have seen some of these articles and seen how I use them, and I put them in my recap. For example, this is just an example of what I presented to Dr. Ron Beach. I think it was around the first quarter of the year. But when you look at this, you'll see I've taken credit for some of those articles that I've done here, as well as other things. And to me, this is also positive, and it just continues to further learning. It continues to be a benefit to me as a faculty member. So again, a benefit to me as a faculty. Next slide, please. You know, more faculty benefits. You know, Kelsey just mentioned about promoting. I'm not in this for self-promotion or nothing like that. It just happens. You know, for me, serendipitous moments occur. And because I'm active in the dialogue, and that's a compliment that Dr. Richard Pattenout had told me once. He says, you know, it's great to see you out there, Bill, participating in a dialogue. And he wasn't just talking here. He was talking in other places where I published, Academic Capital, Dr. Murata Abel. You know, he had seen some of those articles, and he sent me an email one day, and he said, it's really good to see you writing some of these articles and participating in the dialogue. Well, Lizzie featured me here, Lizzie and the team, as the Faculty of the Month, which I liked, and I seen this pop up, and I wasn't expecting it. But again, what are they doing? They're promoting forward thinking. They're using me as a faculty member, so very much appreciate it. But again, another benefit to you as a faculty member, and what I want to say about this builds credibility. This builds academic credibility with our students. Next slide, please. Here are 2 of the most important articles that I've ever written. These are my very first ones. I use these all the time with adult learners who are just re-entering the program. You know, when adult learners come into the program, they disconnected with their education at some point. They're reconnecting, and I was one of them, by the way, that reconnected with mine later in life. And I just know sometimes what they face. They're balancing roles. They've got stress. They just sometimes need a voice. They need some support. Well, these 2 articles, this first one is Why Passion Matters to Adult Learners. And I actually read this one if you get a chance. It's very interesting. And it's a short one, but it talks about a student that I seen get passionate about learning, who was brand new, was a little bit scared. And once she got going, she actually finished her undergrad, she finished her MBA, she became the vice president of human resources in her company. Amazing story. And the next one is just for balancing roles that I wanted to share with adult learners that came from my experience in education. Next slide, please. Now, here's the last slide that I'm going to conclude with, and thank you for listening to me, and I hope I've done a good job showing you how all these benefits connect. Now, this is a quote from Dr. Andy Sheehan when he was executive dean in the College of Education, and you know that he's our chief academic officer now. But Dr. Sheehan said this, and I'm always on the lookout for something to capture that I think I can use and fuse into my particular style, methodology of how I teach. But here's what Dr. Sheehan said, and this just, in my opinion, emphasizes what forward thinking is about. He said, the power of collaboration and learning. He said, together we are so much stronger than we are individually. We all know that. The sum is greater than our parts. And he says, we have the opportunity to become a powerful learning community. So develop relationships with each other. Share your best practices. Talk about how we can create the best learning experience for our students. Now, Lizzie and Kelsey and everyone, you've done that for me. So thank you. And that's what I'd like to conclude on. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Bill. And I think maybe next time we'll just have you give the presentation. Does anyone have questions for us before we head out? Thanks for listening to our presentation today.
So I think that you really brought up some great points. I'm not seeing a question, but I had a question for you. You talked about the blog as a resource to connect faculty and students, and I'm just wondering, what does that look like? Is there an opportunity for faculty to then connect? Do they use LinkedIn? I mean, what are some of the things that you've seen and the relationships that you've seen that have come up in the academic environment for this?
Yeah, so to answer that, faculty have the opportunity to, we promote the blog on our social media channels and encourage faculty as well to share them however they feel comfortable. So Bill, of course, emails a lot to other students. We encourage faculty to share it within the classroom, kind of as on this topic, additional reading, in the syllabus or in the Canvas classroom, they can share them that way. And then, of course, it's always on the blog itself. So those categories and those areas of interest are where students can really dive deeper into a topic.
Great. And do we have the link for the blogs?
Yeah, it's in the presentation. Lizzie listed the 4 places that you can find it.
Great. I think that you brought up some amazing points. Bill talked a lot about his CV and his resume. That's something that's on a lot of faculty's minds. That's a way that they can engage and get with other faculty, and I think also to work in a disciplinary fashion so it stretches what they're able to present to faculty. Have you seen any collaborations like that where people came back to you? I mean, Bill gave a great presentation. It's hard to match his passion, but have you seen any other examples, things that you'd like to bring forward about great representation or great examples of this?
Yeah, so we have a number of series that faculty have written. Ken Edick and Don McKay would be another one. And then Dr. Don McKay and Dr. Karen Ivey and a few other professors actually partnered together for a 4-part project management series. So we're constantly just kind of seeing these different collaborations and these areas of interest kind of come to life. So maybe it's cross program or within the same program, connecting on an issue they see. Maybe students have a constant question that comes up, and the blogs are a way to answer those questions, or so it can be kind of that negative where it's, oh, we have this issue we want to address with the blog, or it can be positive. The research, Dr. Tisha Shipley in the College of Ed wrote a fantastic blog on getting to know professors, and so she called it instructor to student get to know me, because she herself was an online student during her PhD program and said, okay, I know how valuable a resource faculty members are, and she's encouraging students to break through that barrier. Just because we're behind screens doesn't mean we can't get to know each other. So it really is cross faculty and cross students as well.
I think it's also important to note that you can have a topic, and maybe if you have a lot of things to say about it, we can make it a series. So like Bill referenced and Kelsey referenced, we can do 5-part series, 4-part series, whatever, and then we link to them within the blog. And we are also looking for, you know, the Ashford website is ultimately a place for prospective students to go to learn about Ashford, but we want to make it more of a resource for everyone. So whenever people are searching on the web, we want our articles to come up in the search results. So we need articles about current topics, programs, etc., things people are talking about in the world. We need that expertise from our faculty, and we want it to be on our blog.
Yeah, and actually to note, something to note on that as well is every student has a different reason for pursuing their program. This article coming out by Dr. Don McKay and Karen Ivey is they've interviewed a student in the Business Information Systems program, and he's really passionate about technology because he sees it as a way to make his life easier and helping his aging mother and sister who can't who has some disability and needs that extra support. So it's so amazing to hear that story behind a student because we don't always get to see that in the operations side of the company. We like to, you know, connect with students when we can, and the blog is just really a means of doing that. It's to connect with students and faculty and to get the word out about these unique experiences. Everyone's here for a different reason, but we're all here to collaborate.
Yes, and I'd like to just
what I'm hearing is that faculty can really go to the blog, see what's on the blog, see what they would like to contribute, and maybe look at cross-disciplinary things, maybe people that they could connect with. I would just really encourage our faculty to reach out to both Kelsey and Lizzie if you guys would like that. And I know that Bill is always open for a good chat, and he is a great conversation. If you don't know Bill Davis, you need to make that your priority in life. Do you guys have anything more that you would like to present, or?
No.
I don't think I introduced myself, so kind of after the fact, but I'm the content director for Bridgepoint Education. I've been here over 10 years. The blog, and of course, Bill's advocacy has been awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you. Can you hear me, Michael? Can you hear me, Michael?
All right. Well.
I think Bill wants to say something.
Oh yeah, Bill, take it away.
Yeah, hey, just one comment I want to make. Themes, you know, collaboration. This is a tool. This is TLC. Just fantastic, you know, and that's what motivates and inspires me is you give me another resource here to not just look at our own things that we teach, but to look broader. So big thank you to the forward thinking team.